Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast. My name is Amir. If you're listening to the podcast on Apple or Spotify, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for the support. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm on my path to 2,000 subscribers, so it would mean a lot to me if you guys could subscribe. So thank you so much. So Donovan Mitchell possibly could request a trade this offseason if they don't make the NBA championship, which seems very likely that they possibly will lose to the Boston Celtics in the second round. So right now, Donovan Mitchell is under contract for 2 more years. Next year, he will be making $35.4 million, and he has a player option in 2025, 2026 for $37.1 million. And then he could decline that. If so, he will become a unrestricted free agent. And if that's the case, if he does tell the Cavs that he does want to get traded next season, then they will be obligated to trade him because they are going to let him walk for nothing if they do, and they won't recoup any of the assets that they gave up 2 seasons ago. So he's in his second season with the Cavs right now. Last season, they got bounced in the first round. This season, they're in the second round right now, but losing 2-1 to the Boston Celtics. So what can happen this offseason? Who knows? But if they don't make the finals again, which is predicted, NBA insiders and executives believe that he will request a trade. Cleveland gave up a ton to get Donovan Mitchell, so they gave up 3 first-round picks, 2 first-round swaps. They gave future All-Star Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, Colin Sexton as well. So they got a haul for him. So if the Miami Heat do want to trade for Donovan Mitchell to pair him up with Bam and Jimmy, they're gonna have to offer a whole lot. And I'm not entirely sure if Pat Riley is willing to tear up the team, as he mentioned in his press conference last week. But for Donovan Mitchell, I think you have to give up the farm because he can help us win a championship. Obviously, he's a very good player. So Eric Pincus wrote recently on Bleacher Report that Donovan Mitchell has the Miami Heat high on his list of destinations. He is a huge fan and close to Miami Heat legend Dwayne Wade, and we all know that he's really close friends with Bam Adebayo as well. So super interesting. So a lot of this will play into factor. A lot of what's going to happen to play into the factor of getting Donovan Mitchell is evaluating Jimmy Butler's future with the Miami Heat, first and foremost. So we all know that Jimmy Butler's up for an extension, 2-year extension, $113 or $115 million on July 7th. He has 1 year guaranteed next year for $48 million, and then he has a player option in 2025 for 52. He wants to play next year for 48, but then cancel that player option and get an extension instead, where he'll increase that 52 to 55, and then also will be added another year, his age 37 year, $58 million. So the Miami Heat mentioned in their press conference, specifically Pat Riley, that the Miami Heat are going to wait and see. They're not going to offer Jimmy the extension immediately. That's what they've said so far. And so we don't know the repercussions. We haven't heard the rebuttal from Jimmy Butler, his response to if the Miami Heat want to wait until the following year to see if he actually can play more than 65 games, to see if he can get to an all-NBA, all-star level once again, and actually succeed and help this Miami Heat in the playoffs. So there is that implication, and Butler could possibly leave. We don't know yet. If he doesn't get extended, he could possibly leave. He might just say, okay, fine, we'll talk about that. But he might just say, hey, I don't want to pick up my player option next year. I don't want an extension from you guys. I'm just going to leave after next season. Who knows what can happen? But Jimmy has also mentioned recently that he does want to win in Miami, that he does love the city of Miami, and that he wants to retire in Miami. So if that's the case, Donovan Mitchell is an ideal fit with or without Jimmy Butler, preferably with Jimmy. If we get Donovan Mitchell, I think we have a 2-year window to essentially win a championship. Donovan Mitchell is a great fit for this Miami Heat team. We lack scoring. Scoring has been our biggest Achilles heel in the past 4 or 5 seasons. Defense has always been our top, essentially, culture anchor for this Miami Heat team. We rely on our defense. Offense, we were 21st in offensive rating last season, which is horrible. Getting a player like Donovan Mitchell, who's averaged over 20 points every season of his career, dating back to his rookie year. So he's in his seventh season, just like Bam. Rookie season averaged 20 points. So he's never averaged below 20.5 points. That was his rookie year. He's a five-time All-Star, and he averaged 26.6 points, 6.1 assists, two steals, half a block, 4.3 rebounds, shot 86% from the free throw line, shot 37% from three, and 46 from the field. He is a game changer. He's a three-level scorer that this Miami Heat team desperately needs. Jimmy Butler is aging and slowing down. He's getting less pressure at the rim. Jimmy's shooting more threes, which is good, but I think that's because he's not getting to the rim as much. He doesn't have that same lift. And the way the NBA rules have seemed to change after All Star break, he's not getting to the free throw line as much. So Donovan Mitchell can hit the three. He can hit that mid range. He can attack the rim. He's athletic, young, a high flyer, and good friends with Bam Adebayo. So if for some reason we can't win a championship with Jimmy Butler, even after acquiring Donovan Mitchell, he still fits the Bam timeline. So we could still have that blended build to a certain degree. Or I guess in this case, if you do get Donovan Mitchell, there is no blended time run because you kind of are putting all your eggs in this 2 year window and then hoping after Jimmy retires or leaves the Miami Heat, then you could rebuild around a 29 or 30-year-old Bam and Donovan Mitchell. Since they're both the same age, you would have one more opportunity to add some more pieces. So I guess you can have two different timelines, which I think is ideal. The question is though, is who can we trade for Donovan Mitchell? So that's going to be the issue. Do we? I don't know if we have enough assets. Can we compete with the Knicks, who have a ton of draft picks? Can we compete with the Oklahoma City Thunder? They might need to add someone else after this season. Right now, they're down 2-1 against the Mavericks, who are the fifth seed, and they have a treasure trove of first round picks. They have like 16 in the next 5 seasons or so. So they simply can't pick 16 players, obviously. So they're going to need to unload those eventually. So it might be hard to compete. Like, one, if we do trade this offseason, potentially we could trade Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez. I don't care what other people say, but you have to give up the world for Donovan Mitchell, and they're not going to just take one of the kids. You need to trade both. That's plain and simple. Tyler Hero, you're going to have Jaime Jaquez, you're going to have Jovic, and that should equal the salaries because Tyler Hero's making around 30 next year. He's making 33, like I said. You might have to throw in an extra player on the Cavs side. But we could also throw in this year's 15th pick. And then we have two other picks, I believe, in 2030 and 2031, I believe. Not entirely sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But we have 3 first round picks, the kids and Tyler, which might be a lot. But if we can keep Jimmy Butler, that gives us a championship window for the next few years. He can carry the load offensively, which Jimmy and Bam will be fine with. He will be our 1A, and then Jimmy will be our 1B or number 2, and then Bam Adebayo will be our 3. If we could still somehow keep Terry Rozier as our 4th and Duncan Robinson off the bench, then we could sign some veteran young players to the, or not young, but veteran players to the minimum contracts. Then we could be okay. But we'll see. I don't know if the Cavaliers would accept that trade, and maybe they would want to get, more draft picks, possibly from, again, like the Thunder or Knicks, where they could possibly give 4 first round picks, which the Miami Heat can't do. So I would love it if Donovan Mitchell joined the Miami Heat. I think him and Bam would be a dynamic duo. Another angle, which I haven't talked about in this video, is what's if you trade Jimmy Butler to another team or to the Cavs to get Donovan Mitchell? Most likely, we wouldn't trade him to the Cavs. There's been rumors that the Sixers are going to go after him if they don't get Paul George this offseason. They might offer him, Jimmy, that extension and the deal that he's going to like. And if we do, there's not many players that the Miami Heat would want from the Sixers. We don't want Tobias Harris or Robert Covington or any of those players, DeAndre Melton, that they could trade because they're not going to trade us Maxey. They're not going to trade us Embiid. So we would have to get their first round picks. We would have to get all of them if we could. Is Jimmy worth more than two at this point and a couple players? Who knows? If we could somehow get 3 first round picks, then we're talking and cooking, and we could possibly offer then those 4 picks, Tyler Hero, and one of the kids, perhaps, versus having to offer both because we can offer more first round picks. And then we have a new build with Donovan and Bam and Terry Rozier and Duncan Robinson and whoever else we could fill out the roster with. I don't think that's going to lead to a championship, but then we could revisit in the next few years because we'll give Bam an extension. Once we sign Donovan Mitchell, if he comes to the Miami Heat, we're going to obviously extend him. Then you have the next 3 to 5 years to build around those two players as your core young duo. So let me know what you think is the better route. Is it trading Jimmy Butler to get Donovan Mitchell potentially, or is it trading everything to get Donovan Mitchell so you have Jimmy and Bam and Donovan as your big three? Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a good night.